Hello, YouTube. This is the one and only Bendro I, and I have a very special treat for you guys today. It is my first episode in a new series I'm doing, and as you can tell from the title, it's called Not So Popular. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using guns that maybe you don't see quite as often. I'm going to be breaking the guns down, let you know what I think about it, give you a few gun stats to go along with it, and give you some gameplay for it. And actually, this is my very first game with the Mini Uzi ever. I'm gonna try and get the game like right after I start using it. That way, I don't like overuse it and stuff like that. But this is my very first game. It's a pretty good score, but not the best. So let me know what you guys think about that. But here we go. So the gun I'm going to compare it to is the AK-74U because that's generally the SMG used or you see used the most. I'll break down the gun stats first. The AK-74U does 40 damage up until just before 25 meters, and the Mini Uzi only does 30. Now, a couple other stats. The Mini Uzi shoots 937 rounds per minute, as the AK-74U shoots 750. The Mini Uzi has 32 rounds in its clip, and the AK-74U has 30. And one thing you will really notice all throughout the gameplay is how much recoil there is with the Mini Uzi. I mean, it is ridiculous how much recoil there is. So that's one of the minuses, I guess you can say, with it. The other thing is that I'm also using a silencer. So with the silencer, it knocks down the damage to 20. And basically what that means is that I have to put a lot of bullets into people to kill them. And even more bullets than usual. And the other thing about it is that the spray is just so ridiculous that you really have to control it, and it's kind of hard to get used to be perfectly honest. And you'll also notice quite a few times throughout the game where I have to switch to my secondary weapon to finish people off because either I was spraying way too much with it and I was missing shots, or they were too far away, then I wasn't able to get enough bullets into them. But you guys will see that throughout the game. But the other thing I wanted to cover real quick is the perks and the kill streaks I'm using along with this SMG. So first of all, the kill streaks I'm using are the UAV, the Blackbird, and the dogs. That's pretty much what I'm using all the time, and I just called in my dogs not too long ago, and they're doing work for me. The perks I'm using, in the first perk slot, I'm using Ghost. In the second perk slot, I'm using Steady Aim, and in the third, I am using Marathon. Now, I have been switching to Ghost quite often, to be perfectly honest, especially for TDM, because it seems like a lot of people are using UAV, and it just seems like I do a lot better if I can stay off the radar. And especially with my silencer, that way I can kind of sneak up into their spawn and they don't necessarily know where I am. And I'm using Steady Aim, and the reason I'm using Steady Aim because with SMGs I'm in a lot of close quarter battles, so I find it that I do a lot better if every once in a while I can hip fire and get some kills. As I just did right there. And in the third perk slot, I'm using Marathon because, like I've said before, when I'm using an SMG, I like to run or cover as much area as I can because I need to get into close quarter battles and I don't want to be sticking out in the open for very long. But yeah, that's pretty much it about my perks and my kill streaks and stuff like that. At this point, I kind of want to get into my overall feeling on the gun and if I would use it in the future. Is it a gun that I want to keep and maybe it's a hidden gem that people should use? And don't forget, these are all my personal opinions. It all depends on your personal playstyle as I get killed by a damn RC car. I guess that guy didn't watch my video about not using it. But yeah, so overall, I personally would not choose to use this SMG. And there's a few reasons for that. Well, also, I think that things may change if I decide to use extended mags instead of the silencer, because with the silencer, I really noticed the difference in the damage and how many bullets it takes and how much success I have with it. Now the assault rifles are really good with the silencer. Certain ones you can get away with it, but with the SMGs it seems like you really got to be close. And if I had to take off the silencer, I wouldn't be that sneaky ninja that I'm trying to do with this class. So I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but personally I would not put this in my custom class just because there's so much recoil. I was having such a hard problem knocking people down, and to be perfectly honest, the AK-74U does more damage. I like the gun better, and this gun just has way too much recoil. I mean, if it didn't have as much recoil, and I mean, there are guns that don't do as much damage but don't have as much recoil, like right here. That was a total fail. There was a lot of recoil. I had to switch to my secondary, and luckily I was able to finish this guy off. But I don't know, maybe if I gave it a few more games, I think what I'm going to do is also try and play a couple games without the silencer and see how it is. But I personally would not recommend the mini Uzi with the silencer. It really doesn't do enough damage, and it's just not what I'm looking for. But at this point, I kind of want to ask your guys' opinion. Do you guys like the series? First of all, do you think it's a good idea? What do you guys want to get out of the series? Is there something else you want me to cover about the particular guns? I do not run a gunship or a chopper gunner, and I'm not going to for this particular series because I don't think it really shows off the gun. And I could end up getting, like you've seen in my previous videos, only have to get like 10 to 15 kills, and then I'm up in the chopper for the rest of the game. So I want to mainly just use this as a gun, a gun kill kind of thing, as that guy is AFK. Try and get as many kills with my guns. I did call in the dogs. I mean, they did a little work, but not too much. I mean, right there is a perfect example. You cannot get into any long distance battles with this gun. You really got to burst fire, and you can just see the recoils just all over the place, and I'm having to switch my secondary quite frequently. But anyways, I really just wanted to reiterate that this is my personal opinion, and I'm sure there are going to be people like, oh man, I use this gun all the time, it's my favorite gun in the game, blah blah blah. But for the way I play, the type of play style I have, this just does not fit me. It's definitely not my favorite gun. And I'm not saying that it should be, but what I'm trying to say is that basically I will not be adding this to any one of my classes. I did okay with it in this game, and maybe it's a combination of the map. This is a perfect map for SMGs. I mean, you can really choose your battles. You can choose where you're running around and stuff like that, and what type of engagements you want to get in. And I think that's the only reason I really did well here. Now, if you're trying to use this on a very open map, I mean, you can use the AK-74U on quite a few different maps. But for this one, as that guy, if you can see him right up there on the bridge, he was laying down with Ghost, just camping up there. I really, really hate that. But anyway, I kind of want to give my final verdict now. I know I've said it before, but I personally will not be adding this to my class, and I won't be using it. Have you guys had success with it? Do you guys enjoy it? Do you guys use it? Let me know. I personally, the way I play, it does not fit me, and I won't be using it. But I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, and no matter what class you're using, if you're using an SMG, if you're using an LMG, an assault rifle, just remember that you got to play to that play style. You can't be running and gunning with an LMG. I'm sure you can, but you won't be as successful with it. But other than that, that is the end of the game. My final score was 36-7. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to let me know what else you want to see from me from the series. Other than that, hope you guys have a tremendous day.